Welcome. Hello, everybody. I know that we are having some people just joining in. My name is Andy Knieven, and I am so thrilled to be able to join you today with Cole Phillips. I'll let Cole introduce himself.
Hey everybody, it's me, Cole Phillips.
And this is Cole's Corner, part of
Welcome to
the
Cole's Corner, Season
Minecraft
3.
Education
We're
Teachers Lounge.
back.
Yeah. And Cole, we
Thanks.
are locked and loaded on that, or at least most of it. And so we are going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to share a link here in the chat for everybody to be able to have to download, to be able to go through as we get started, as we kick off season 3, the game add-ons, and this one is all about skins and custom skins. I know that's been always a great interest and a great introduction to game design and customization. I'll let Cole take it away. I'm going to do some behind the scenes quick shares and things, but I'll let Cole share his screen and take off. And this is being recorded, so this is the beauty of learning is you can pause, rewind, replay afterwards. So I will send out the recording following this end of the Cole's Corner event, and all the additional links will also be shared as well. So, Cole, go ahead and take it away.
Cool. Well, first off, thanks everybody for coming. Feels like it's been a long time since I've seen, or I was gonna say your lovely faces, but your lovely names, I guess, in most cases. But it is nice to see everybody. And welcome to Season 3, the game where uh we had this goal in the past, but this time it's I think it's really going to happen that we're going to spend the entirety of Cole's Corner over the season making a game, but we're going to make add-ons so that we can come together and make a game. The reason it's actually called the game, though, oh, cameras are disabled. Okay. The reason it's called the game is because I'm gonna try to teach the techniques through gameplay, and or at least reinforce them, so that as you'll be able to play this world, and by the end you'll have a world that you can always look back on, that'll have all these examples. But even the game itself will, in the game you will learn how to do what we're doing. So hopefully it's fun. um the first one's a little rough, so we'll get it polished out and we'll get it to you. But I'm going to walk through it today, and then we'll share it out later. But if you want to play along at home right now, what we're going to do today is make a skin pack, and we can all do that together. One of my goals for this whole series is that as we make these add-ons, if you're up for it, um, I would ask that you make them as well and then submit them back, and they could become some of the first add-ons that, you know, moving forward on, at least for a test that we're doing. But I'm trying to build a collection of add-ons for the education side, so all of your add-ons could be some of the first ones. So do good if you're into it. If you want to be a part of this little pilot, this is your opportunity. And I'm hoping everybody wants to do it, because I'm sure you all have great stuff to show. So I'm gonna, I guess, share now. There should be a file, a skin packed zip file, and we can use that. You should save this and archive it for yourself, because this will be kind of your starting template. Also, with what we're doing today, hopefully at the end it'll just work, and then you'll have this as your template to start from, you know, for as long as you want. I still use some of my old templates. You have to update them every now and then for versions and, you know, some new features, but for the most part, so it's always good to kind of have like your manifest to go to, you know.
And Cole,
So
I just shared in the chat as well the actual world file, hopefully with everything activated and good to go there. So
yeah, we can.
the main piece is that we have the skin pack, that zip file shareable, and then watching the recording, Cole will go through, but the world file will also be shared as well. So as you are downloading those, have those ready, and Cole will navigate from there.
Every month when we'll update this game file. So by the end, we'll have, seven basically 7 add-ons that we've made together, and we'll have 7 little chambers to our room. So there's only one at the time, and we'll expand on it as we go. I've been having problems. The last update, it seems like there's some funky stuff with resource and behavior packs. So if the resource and behavior packs didn't come through with the world, I'm still trying to work that out. Hopefully they do, but if you notice anything weird, we'll get it all squared away before we post it again. But if that one that Andy sent works, that'd be great. But if not, we'll get it sorted out. But the first thing, yeah.
You're not sharing your screen, yeah.
You're right.
Hey, Mike, I see you. I can say cameras should be available if you want to have camera on. You should be able to unmute as well. So great to see you, Mike. And yeah.
Great to see you all. Yeah.
Yep, you too. Let me share here. Okay, here we go. All righty. Go. Do you guys, am I sharing? There we go. Slow computer. Okay. Okay, so if you got that file, that skin packs file, I will just start there before we get a little too deep. It's just to make sure everybody has this if they want to play along. You're going to need for the best success today. The tools that we should have, which most of you probably already have, is our good old Blockbench or your favorite other pixel editor, and a text editor. So, as primitive as Word all the way, or sorry, not Word, text Notepad all the way to VS Code, which is what I'll be using. And then we're going to open the skin packs zip, and we're going to look inside it. It might have the 3 examples. I guess it should have the 3 examples, but it doesn't matter if it does or not, because we're going to make our own today. But should have 1 to 3 textures in it, and manifest, a skins, and a folder called text. If you have all that, then you should be good to go. And we'll be opening up those as we go along. So without further ado, I will show you. This is the world. This is the game world. Now, it's like I said, it's not feature complete, but when you come into this world, you're going to be greeted every month by a new NPC, who after the month he'll retire to one of these other areas, so you can always go back and reference him. But we'll meet here in this tower. So since it's the game, I decided to keep it in kind of a Minecrafty kind of fantasy sort of vibe. So think Dungeons and Dragons sort of fantasy level. And we'll talk to an NPC, and we'll get straight into it. So the first thing is skin pack. So we're just going to teleport right into our world. And here we are. This is in the game world that we're going to be building, or that I'll be building to help. Every session is going to be basically one room like this, which is the instruction part of the game. And the second part will be the gameplay, where we actually see how everything works together and what we've made work. So, and this is the learning part. So we're just going to kind of take this step by step, and I'll be, opening up my my file and adjusting it as we go through, so we can see it in real time. But this is how you make a skin pack. So skin pack, you have your prime folder. I would say first thing, I don't think I mentioned it, but when I have my little NPC in here, he'll mention it. But the first thing you want to do is probably make a folder, call it skin_pack. all lowers. And inside that folder, create another folder called texts. And then you can populate it with these two files that go inside text, and then these three that go inside the skin pack file. So that's all the contents, and you should have them if you got the zip that we downloaded. So you should have your file hierarchy pretty much set if you're using the template. But if not, that's even okay, because we're gonna kind of make them as we go along. It'll just be easier if you have the templates, so you'll have all your files. So as we move through our maze, the first step is creating our texture map. And I recommend that you use Blockbench here. One, because the primary reason is because it actually helps you. You can just click create a Minecraft skin, and it will put it on a model that you can see in real time, and you can see how your painting actually changes in real time. If you use something like Photoshop or MS Paint or GIMP or whatever you want to use, once you understand the texture maps and the UV mapping that we use, it's a little easier, and you don't need to see it on the model. But especially in the beginning, I totally recommend it. And Blockbench is actually now a pretty good painting tool. It has a lot of cool inks, as I call them. I guess they're called paints, or but it has a lot of cool like blending modes. It has a lot of modes and paints and brushes now that you can get a lot of good effects out of it. So it's not super primitive. You can get pretty far with it. So I'm gonna pop it open because I guess I should have already had it up. I guess I closed it from last night. Luckily it opens pretty quickly. And we are going to who's closed? Okay. We're going to create a Minecraft skin. And then we're going to say create a new model. For this tutorial, all these settings are fine. Basically, you can change between like the slimmer character like Alex or the normal character of Steve. For now, the resolution is fine. The textures will load in a second. Posing is fine. So we're just going to confirm that. And we get this little scene here of our character. And they kind of give us a rough texture, but this is good because this is, I mean, they gave us the eyes to help us kind of figure that out. But this is gonna show us where these boxes really help define each limb, if you will. And this is how we're gonna start painting. But you could probably, let me just move on to go back into our world here. And now we're at creating a texture. And so these are just some tips I've come up with. Most of them are pretty obvious, but I would say to use a default texture to get going, which is this one, or it can be one that you've already used. So one thing that you could do is pull up the texture that we've already made. Is it in here? Yeah, like so here, I got these. I'm gonna just bring them all in here. And if you want to open these up, you can put these on. These are all my little character here. And, you know, there's different layers
Hey, Cole,
here.
I'm gonna interrupt you real quick. I think that they are seeing what I saw before with the add-on not enabled. Um,
In the world.
so yeah, so the file, it
Yeah.
didn't export it the
Uh,
way after we were testing it too. So
the
this
world
is why we were a
has
couple minutes. Yeah.
yeah, the world has no resource pack and behavior pack in the file itself,
So
so you can't even like launch it inside
yeah.
the game.
So for right
It,
now, I think
it,
our workaround is, yeah, watch Cole through this. You have the skin pack files to be able to navigate through, and then the we'll get the resource pack piece of that adjusted and send that as a follow-up when the recording's finished. We'll send that reminder, hey, that's done. But yeah, the skin packs, that's the main important part, but follow
Yeah,
along while Cole's going through it. But the world we'll get the world cleaned up on that. Sorry about the packs not being
it
shared
has,
or enabled in there first.
yeah, it's something, I'm telling you, there's something with the last update that just really changed the way that add-ons work in a level. Sometimes I've seen a lot of what people are saying. People have been using them online. I've seen them too. I know Dan has reached out to me about the bug because he's experienced it. But typically, when you export a world, the packs that you've added from your set obviously attach that world. So when you go, and that's not happening right now. In some cases, we've seen that you'll go into your world folder expecting to see resource and behavior packs, and they're just not even there. So it's almost like it's doing this. I'm not
It's
100
okay.
percent
Cole, you're okay. Yeah, just carry on and do
Okay.
the skin pack adjustments and the edits there, and then we'll
Well,
send the world. Don't worry about it.
yeah, we'll
It's all
get
good. That's the
it
important thing.
squared away. So
Yeah.
yeah, so if you have the Blockbench and you have those files, you can just open these examples, or you can just use this example that it creates for you. But the reason why I suggested that you use one of these is just because I wanted to show, I was gonna just to look around is because I was going to show you some of the like a quick changes that you could do. So if you wanted to just do a quick change into one of these existing ones, something you could do like really quickly is like, let's like change this shirt to like red, right? And so I get my red ink out and I get my brush. You can use a brush personally. I like to use the shape tool because it's a little easier to control because you're dragging like a shape. But then I'm going to set this color, this default, this is the color modes, or I call them inks, but that's just an old from somebody used to do in the old days. But we're going to pick color, and then we're just going to go right over this green here. And now I'm turning our shirt red. So that's one, way that you can start getting familiar with the UV maps and learning what each part is. You'll see I have some stuff in the world that'll help you later. But now our guy's got a little red shirt. And if you think it's like, oh, it's too bright or something, we can still play with it in different ways. We can lower our opacity and like try to like go over it with like this multiply ink. There we go. We're darkening it up a little bit. We lose a little contrast there, but we're getting it there. And yeah. So that's one change. Another change you could do, and these are all short. I mean, you could really just draw over the whole character, make it you or any character you want, think about some sort of cool character, maybe historical, maybe something that you can imagine would be a cool add-on for that other people would want to use, right? One thing also we could do is change the shirt pretty easily. So we're going to get back to our default ink. And I'm just going to zoom in on here. I have Steve for Cole, but we could make it something else. And I'm going to make this one for Andy. So there you go. Now we got an Andy hoodie. So when you're done with that, when you're done changing this however you would like, the first step is you're going to save this. So you're going to click this thing here and you're going to save it. It'll if you go into here, you'll want to save it in this folder. All the things we're going to make today, like I said, we're going to have these three. We're going to have 1 to 3 textures, but we'll talk about that in a minute. If you only have one, if you have all 3 from this example, perfect. If not, you only have 1, that's fine. But then the other files we're going to have are going to be this manifest file, this skins. If you have the templates to start with, perfect. If not, we can just create a new file, like a text file, to get you going. And then you have this folder called text, and inside we got these two other files, another JSON file called languages, and another one called it stands for English US, and it's the lang file. And so this is like where all our translated text comes in. We could probably do a whole show on translations at some point, but this is going to be the most bare bones version of it. It's also probably a good introduction because it's pretty easy to do. So going back to our world, we'll see that we're done here and we saved our file. And now we're going to come around here. And so, oh, sorry, I passed this one. Now we're going to create the manifest. So like I said, if you have that manifest round, you can use it. If not, then you're gonna have to do some typing.
Hey, Cole, I'm gonna pause for a second. I questioned the chat on the mapping or the model used, and you'd selected within Blockbench at the very beginning along new, and you just selected a Minecraft skin as like the model that you're working off of, not using the entity wizard or anything else.
Correct. Because all we want from this stage in Blockbench is the actual PNG. Because for especially for education skins, and like again, I'm pretending that we're just all starting off together. So we're gonna do the simplest stuff first. So the default skins are always for a player are always player, like in here they call it wide, but it's humanoid and humanoid slim. And humanoid is because you could pick those two settings in your, if we go into Minecraft, let's see what I got here. If I can do it from here. But yeah, if I click on here, you can, when you pick your characters, I think actually in EDU, they're probably just tied to which character you pick, but you can just kind of tell Alex is a little slimmer in the arms. Her arms are 1 pixel smaller in width, and I think maybe her legs too. And that's the only difference. So you're picking between the slim character and the normal character. Bedrock, of course, has way more settings for that, right? And we have persona where you get to like customize your character a lot more. But for EDU, just to get our skins into this pack, right? So that we have this, they're all gonna be normal or slim, right? So in the beginning of our Blockbench tutorial, I'll just start it again for everybody wants to see this step again. When we go to skin here, because we could do an entity, but we're not making an entity. All we're making today is the skin. So when we click the skin here, it's going to give us this option, right? And we could see there's a whole bunch of these different things to start. But if you pick an armadillo, your skin's not going to work for you, right? Because it's not a player skin. So for the player, you really only have these two choices, which is wide and slim. I use wide for mine, and then the resolution, again, we didn't go into it, but you can make a really detailed. Everybody probably understands the resolution.
I was gonna just follow up on that of like whether changing that in the resolution of when you start at that stage, or even in Blockbench, you can adjust that 64 by 64 pixel. And so that was another question of how can you make it bigger, add more color, or add more detail to those.
Yeah,
so perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, you can definitely do it later. It gets tricky if you had done something small. So for example, I'll show you an example of it in a minute, but so I wanted to make an example to help everybody understand the different parts on a UV map, and I wanted to write on it. Well, you can't really write on your image in this resolution. It's just in normal Minecraft pixel resolution. Is too chunky. It's not enough. You maybe, let's think of the letter C on my jacket. That's like I have one letter on my jacket. So I had to make it like 128 to have the fidelity to write in pixels so I can make notes on it. So that's something there too. And you can also, you can just put your, I guess, the texture in, you can set up here. I just wait until it's in, until I get to the next layer, the next segment to do it. And then the pose here is, there's like, you'll see this, your character, if you turn this off, I guess you'll just be in the static Minecraft pose. But if you turn these on, it just creates like kind of key poses, and you'll see them, and you can actually cycle through them as well, just to see what your character looks like in different poses. And then the layer texture, this they've added, like I said, their paint tool got a lot better over time, and so now you can actually have layers similar to Photoshop. Typically at pixel art, I find I don't need them too much, but they could be beneficial, I guess, if you were I don't know, there's probably some stuff that you could do with the layers, especially in a production model where you're saving them for posterity so you can adjust them later, which is the primary use of I usually just kind of flatten them out just out of habit, but whatever works for you is what's right. So here, like, just going back, and here you see the poses. We can just pick the different poses here. You can see what your character looks like in all these different poses. And this is like, I think this pose thing is unique to skin packs. So that's the only time you really get this. You'll notice if you're familiar with Blockbench, what you don't get is the other things like the edit and the other kind of settings that we use to manipulate the model. Animations, we don't have that. So anyway, back to this thing. If you did want to adjust the textures afterward, this is you can go into here, and that's not, I'm sorry, I was on the wrong one. You can where is it? It's under, is it under, might be under project, or yeah, right here under project. So you can change these if you want. Sometimes you'll have, if you already have something set up, it kind of maps it, and so it gets kind of messed up. But I don't know if that'll actually happen when you're doing skins. If you make an entity and you change this, it's a little more work. But I think in this it wouldn't matter so much. Yeah, is everybody good on this part? Or do you want to? Any other questions about the drawing part?
I think keep on going, as you know, bringing up that mapping to be able to, how you can go back and do some whatever touch-ups, edits to that. But I think we're good on that. And any follow-ups, we can keep on going.
Yeah. So the next step is our manifest file. So the two files that exist in this folder are going to be kind of our defining files for our add-on. And the first one is a manifest. And here's an example of it. I put it in the game. Hopefully you can read it pretty good. But again, if you have this world, you probably have the manifest example anyway. So I'm just going to go back to it. This is what it looks like. So the first thing, if you have this and it says put your UID in here, that's the first thing you got to do. That's also the reason why I didn't want to leave the example with just some random number that worked, is this is one of the most important steps to making an add-on, is making sure you have this unique number. So there's different ways you can get a UUID. There's UUID generator sites. I typically use this one website. Andy showed me yesterday this really cool thing where it's an extension for, if you're using VS Code, you can, I don't know, hopefully this will work. But it's not, because I don't have this window trusted, which I have to do like every time. Okay. Sure, it's trusted now. Right?
You can disable Windows trusting in the second settings.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. But here we go. Generate this UID at the cursor, and so there we go. Now we got that one, and then this, you're going to put your second one here. It's labeled as putting number 2 in, because these are different. They're not the same number. And we're going to put in that one there. So now we got our manifest. The version for is fine for this. I wouldn't mess with that. But what you can mess with is your name. So I have this one, it's called example skin pack. I'm going to call it goals skin pack for today. You can call it whatever you want. You're going to leave the type as a skin pack, and that's all good. And then we're going to save this file back into that folder. So I'm going to see here. I am going to, it's fine. I could just save. I'm just going to save over the ones I have there. Yep. So there we go. So now mine should say that. So that is that file. And we're going to come around the corner here and we're going to create the skins.json. So this is our second one. And I've kind of created this little breakdown of what the information is. So to help just so you know kind of what you're changing. But again, if you're using the template, hopefully you already have, these things here, but we're going to open up Skins.json. If you don't have it and you have to create it, you'll see the text here in a moment. There you go. So we got the type of file, skins. We're not going to change that. This localization name, we don't really need to change it. So I don't know. I'm not going to change it, but you could, if you're not going to localize it, you could just put like, gold skin pack or whatever. Here, the geometry, we're using that humanoid. If we use the slim, we would mention that here, humanoid slim. But since we're just using the regular, we're not going to touch geometry. Texture, this is the one that we're going to change. And so this example, this is the one that we saved. It's going to be whatever name we used here. So we got example skin 1. And that's what this is, example skin 1, right? And that's defining our texture. If we don't have that, so I'm going to find the texture. So the serialized name, this is like what we called our thing in the pack, right? In our manifest. So I'm going to call this one Cole's skin pack. And then this localization name is the key that we'll put in the localization. I think skin pack example is fine, just like skin pack skin 1 is fine here. So this is right now, this skins file, if you're using this one, was just set up for one skin. So if we're just making the one skin, that's fine. But if, say we wanted to add the other two, because I had these 3 example skins in here, right? So that's where we're going to take this information here. And we're going to copy it because everything in these brackets is 1, right? So I'm going to copy this. We're going to add our comma, and then we're going to paste the next one. And this one's going to be skin pack 2 example. Keep that the same, but we are going to update our texture to 2. And if you have all 3 and you want to add all 3, we're going to put this down here. And remember, we don't need a comma at the end there because that's closed now, but we are going to change this to 3. You can do this for every skin pack you want to add to the pack. And I don't know if there's a limit. I'm gonna guess if there is, it's pretty,
because
pretty high.
You expand that collection. Yeah, I mean, just like in the friend skin pack or the holiday. I mean, you just expand that collection, but those file names have to match what you have in the skin pack folder. Just to clarify, as people are watching or on the replay, like how you have skin pack skin 02 example, like that has to match the file name that you have in the folder. Correct.
For the texture. So yes. this first, this one says example skin 2, and that's what all these are named, right? Like I said, the top line, the localization name, this will be like what we're going to add these keys into the localization file. I'm pretty sure if you didn't want to have a loc, I don't know. I haven't experimented to see if I don't have a loc, but I'm pretty sure if you don't have a loc file, and you could, if you just type in, like right here, I guess I could test it, might break it, but you can test it. But I could just write Cole's third skin, and this one might just appear as in the game as Cole's third skin, where these ones are going to be looking at the loc file to populate that name, right? And that'll be the next thing we talk about. So I believe you could just write in your language right here if you didn't want to worry about localization. And that should work. I'll have to do some experiments. Maybe we can do that if we get some time. But for now, this is what the skins file looks like. Hopefully you used the template. You didn't have to type out all this, or hopefully you're a fast typer. But either way, you'll have all these to refer back to. And so now our folder should have our 1 to 3 example skins named matching what this texture file is in skins. And we should have our manifest, and we should have our skins. And so now in the same folder, this skin underscore packs folder, let's add a new folder called texts. You have the template, you have the template. If not, make a new folder called text. And inside of it, we're going to have 2 files. They're both just text files, but one we call lang file, so it's a unique extension. But you'll see it opens in the coding editor anyway. And then the second one is a JSON file. And we'll just get caught up in our game here. So we're at step 4, which is creating the text files. And again, so in this example, you see we only have 1 in this example, but you can imagine in yours, you either have 1 to 3. So there might be 3 images and our manifest and our skins. And now we're going to add this new folder here called text. And inside of this text folder, you have the 2 files I mentioned, the languages.json and this is we call them like country codes or whatever, but these are the different languages that Minecraft supports. I think, gosh, what is it? It's like 128 languages or something. That might be too high. I don't know. It's a lot of languages that we support. I don't know off the top of my head, but this is how you would set them. And so if you were in for example, if you're in the UK, like this would be like, I think this one becomes like, is it UK? English UK, or is it
I believe so.
It might be. And then like I think there's one for like Germany is like there's like DE, and so there's a list of all these country codes. These are all available in the resource pack examples folders that you can find. It wouldn't if localization is something that people want to really get into, someday we can do a really deep dive on it. Maybe I'll just do a little pop-up 1 month outside of the game series. If you want to know more about localization, mention it in the chat and send me an email, and maybe we'll get something set up for that at some point. But today we're just going to keep it really simple, and we're just going to use this English for our thing. That's all it's in mind, and that's all that I'm going to do today. If you know your country code and if you want to put it in, go ahead, but I probably won't be able to read it. You will, but not me. The next part is
keep going. Yeah.
is the skin packs here. So these are the names. These are the names that we're going to translate in this the code, the language we picked. This is the US English. These are the keys. So this skin pack example, if we go way back to our example here, skin pack example, that's the localization name. And then this is for the example. We have the skin 01 example. If you had, and then this is what it's going to appear in the game. So it's going to say example, example skin 1. So if you wanted to change this so that it said me or Cole or Santa Claus, this is where you could change it. And then if you wanted to put that name into, like, imagine it was like the word mechanic, like you're like mechanic, and then maybe in mechanic in a different language, it's a different word, which again, I don't speak other languages, so if you had if it was Pig Latin, it would be, Mechanic May or whatever, and I would have the country code for Pig Latin, and and then I would write, this, and then it would translate to that. So a word that has meanings, you would have it translate. So that with those done, and if we go back to our, oh, I didn't actually open those because I just referred to the ones in the game. Hold on a second here. There we go. So just to show you in the game, or I mean in the editor, what they look like. There's our skin pack name examples, and here's our language file. Again, you probably don't really have much to do there, but you can change these names to whatever you like. And with that, we are now complete on all of our files. And let's look at the next step, which is zipping it up. So now that we have all those files, we're going to basically back out and we're going to go to this folder. One back out, this folder here. I'm going to do this because I already see I've already kind of tested it. I'm just going to put 2 on that. We're going to take this folder, which has all of our files in it, right? And I'm going to right click on it and say send to compressed file folder, sorry. And now I made this skin packs, this zip. And as most of you who have worked on packs know, the zip file is, our add-on files is basically just a zip. And you're going to need to have file extensions editable or visible for this to work, obviously, because we're going to change the extension to name this, to get this as an add-on. So we're going to delete the zip. We're going to type MC add-on. And once we do that, it's going to want to confirm that. And now you'll see the icon changes, and now it's an add-on. So if everything went swimmingly, you should have this add-on now. Now the final step is we're going to install and we're going to use it. So to install it, you just double click it. If you have multiple Minecraft versions, like if you have Bedrock, you got to be careful because sometimes they share, like MC add-on and MC worlds, is you might have already encountered this if you have both. So you can right click on it as well and say, wherever it is, open with, right here, you can say open with, and you can pick which version. It usually remembers it for the next time, which kind of can be a pain in the butt if you're doing a one-off. When you usually make it for EDU, and then you're like, oh, I wanted to put it in Bedrock, and then you did Bedrock, and next time it goes to Bedrock again. So I did. It can happen, but you just pick it again. So what I'm going to do today is just double click it, and you can see on my screen it says import started, and then successfully imported Cole's skin pack. So now it should be as easy as, I don't think we have to exit out. We'll see, but I don't think so. But we should be able to click on the coat hanger and access our skin picker. And if we scroll all the way down to the bottom, you'll see I have the example skin pack that I had from earlier, and putting this in myself. But now you'll see we have this one with our Andy hoodie and our red shirt, and we have a pack.
A for awesome.
A for awesome, and you confirm it, and now I'm this guy, or I'm Anime Cole. All right, and so with that, you've made an add-on. If it's your first add-on, congratulations. Welcome to add-on gang. If it's not your first, well, hopefully you are happy that you did it again. This little room here is set up. And again, when I give this out later, it'll be more guided because I hope to put in some NPCs. I just didn't have time. It takes so long to build stuff, as you guys know. trying to get this all done in time for today. It just has pretty much bare bones functionality. So, and we encountered like I said, all the issues with the packs and them not installing, and I export the world and then the pack didn't come with it. There's a lot of stuff going on, but what these little stations are they're built is to help you understand UV mapping and hopefully make this pretty intuitive. And if you're using these as guides, it should become really helpful. So the F and the
Hold on,
B,
before you do anything, if
sure.
if the people that are watching, this is definitely like, if you're watching watching it, make sure you're paying attention on not just like, oh, I'm sidetracking, multitasking. This is cool stuff that Cole's created on this, so check it out.
Thanks, Andy. So hopefully these guides will help you, like if you're new to UV mapping, because I know it can be confusing. I started my career as a 3D artist, and I remember when I first got into 3D, like moving from 2D pixel art into 3D and learning how to texture stuff. I mean, it's been almost 30. Oh, it's probably been over 30 years. So maybe it wasn't, but maybe it's not as crazy as it was when I started it, at least mentally, but it took me some time to learn how to UV map. And in fact, in the old days, we used to say that the UV map was kind of like a fingerprint, because you can make it any way. And when we were hiring artists, we'd do a test and we would say, let me see your UV map, because that's how we would know if like they had a good understanding of the modeling process. They could just show you a picture of their final product and be like, oh, cool, that looks beautiful, but like this is the file we wanted to see, because we wanted to see how they got that result, and if this was, nice and clean, or if it was efficient, or if they copied it, they might have just copied it. And if they copied it because they were trying to learn, that's fine, I think. But if they were trying to pass it off as something else, like our example, and just throw it back at us, then that's not great. But I wrote the F and the B for front and back. So if we look around here, this is basically Steve, but he's got, I put this little Cecil beanie and some glasses on him just to show you the hat layer, because we have these different layers. And this lever here is going to toggle the layers so you can see how they remove. And so he's also on his undies, he's got the F and the B, so we can see the front and the back. And so that, knowing this, and mind you, you can make, Minecraft uses like kind of this format here, but it changes, and you can make the UV map whatever you want, because you're going to be lining up. I guess I could go back if there's time and talk more about the UV mapping and how it aligns, but there's different kind of modes for this. Like Minecraft uses this box mode where all these things are locked in. You can see the silhouette of the leg and how that's what's selected. But
You're blowing people's minds right now, Cole. As I told you when you previewed this with me before, like flipping that lever and seeing everything go. I mean, Ben saying, how'd you do the layer removal in the game? And that's so cool from Beth. So no, this is
awesome.
just
Well,
the extra. I mean, you've put in a lot of love and care into like showing the learning process, but also the layering concept of it. So thank you.
yeah, I want that, because it can be difficult, and I want this part to get. I just want this to be something that, like, if you see it broken down this way, it's easier to understand. Like his shirt is on, in this example, on the jacket layer. That's what they call it. And if we go back to, I still have this open. It's this. Where is it at? Is it hidden under something right here? Left arm, left leg. Does he not have a jacket? He's got to have a jacket. Body. Oh,
Body layer.
body
Yeah.
layer. Is that it? No.
Yeah.
Right. Is that it? Is that what
It'd
they
be the
call
body
it in
layer.
this?
Yeah.
It might be. So,
Yeah, it's what you have in the.
In Minecraft, we call it the jacket. Like if you look in our files. But let's see. You can see it right here. Oh, let me get a color that's better to see. But you can see it here. I'm drawing over it. You can see it's a fatter texture. See, I'm drawing over it. I'm on the, see, they call it the right arm layer. We call it the sleeve.
Yeah,
So,
I don't think you had put the layers in when you first started it. So
yeah, because I'm just using, because I just went for the skin. this is just what Blockbench's example is called, but it will at least give us, and since this one doesn't have anything there, it's not showing anything. But like I said, like if we go back and pull up our example, you can see in my example, we have the jacket here, right? And there you go. You can see there's the back of the jacket. Boom. And this is why I like Blockbenches, because again, I can draw right on the model, or I can draw into the map.
Yeah. So
when
in
you get-
Blockbench, when you start the new skin, if you click the layer texture, it'll show it all on the map for you.
Gotcha. Yeah. Cool. That's good to know. So yeah, so here we are there, and there I have just a couple more examples along the same line. So with Alex, so this isn't how Steve is normally constructed, right? Steve does not have his, well, for one, Steve doesn't have underwear, right? Like, I mean, we're gonna assume he does, but we don't ever see it. His shirt is drawn on him, and instead what they do is they use the jacket layer as to give you kind of like what we have here with Alex, to get this kind of 3D effect on the sleeves. Her boots are chunky boots, so they're on the pant leg, as I call it. And instead of a jacket, what they've done is they've actually made the hair on the jacket layer, right? And you can see this. In fact, I've outlined it out here for you, so you can actually see what they're doing with it, right? And then to further illustrate it, I made this, I call it the wiggle. Basically, I'm animating her jacket and pants layers here, so to identify them, right? So we can see just because they're moving, and then we can look here and see, oh yeah, that's what's moving. We got these layers moving. Now, if we want to break her out, we can click this and we can see how this is the breakout of Alex, right? So her jacket is actually her hair, and her sleeves are actually these like armbands, and then her pants are just the boots. I made Steve this way just to kind of show you how we can put clothes on a guy and take them off, and that hopefully illustrates, like, again, the layers. But the ultimate one, I think, is this one. This is the one I was telling you about. I went through and I labeled all of them. Now, this could be different for any model, and this isn't even the same as like the standard model, but in this model that I used, this one is, this lays out how this model works. And you can kind of see, if you get in close, that he's doubled up. He's got this transparency. But if we throw this, we can pull off all of his secondary layers, and you can actually get in and read what they are. So you're like, oh, left pants. And so now when you're drawing this thing, and if you're using this as a guide, you're like, okay, now I know what this is. And this, hopefully all this just helps you understand UV mapping, or at least, makes it more clear. Once you learn all this stuff, it's pretty easy to just go in and change this and have a lineup. But sometimes it can be tricky, and like where are the boundaries on her shirt here? Like, they overlap with this. Again, Alex, I guess it's kind of easy. You can tell her pants right there, but sometimes, like, when is the pants there? Or versus like this is a leg, right? Like, which leg is this? Which leg is that? And when you have four of them, like, if I guess I would have to look at my character, but like, yeah, look at, well, I guess on mine I have the socks on this one. Let me see if I have it on this first one here. Yeah, see, if you look on this, my pants are the same as my legs. So which one's which? If I draw here, oh, there it is. But if I draw here, wait, what's going on? I don't see it. What's going on? And just because learning what each part of these are. And again, that can change because you're the one who's building this map. But if you follow a standard, guide, like a Minecraft guide, it's much easier. But because it's already laid out for you. So anyway, hopefully that helps. And now we're done here. So the last thing before we can leave this chamber of acknowledgement, this is an Andy idea. from yesterday, which I thought was a really cool one. He wanted to make sure we got a picture of our new skin. So if you come over here, this is the selfie spot. So we're going to take a pic of our new skin, stand on the plate, turn around, wait for the flash. We're going to click the camera.
So you know that like as a community, taking pictures as we can is the coolest, but getting in-game shots like that is stellar. Says you do make your selfies, you do that. Definitely share them. And I just posted in the teacher's lounge what my big monitor looks like with all the things going. But yeah, share these screenshots as you guys are making, as everybody's making theirs. But this is sweet.
So we got our selfie now. And so the only way we can get through the door is to use our selfie. So if hopefully you're all familiar with this tool, but if not, welcome to level 2, which is exporting this picture. So we're going to export it, and now it's an image that we can look at. We can hold it in our hands. We have it. Well, the only way we're getting out of here is to export our selfie and place it into the frame. There we go.
And that is so rad. That is rad.
And so with that, we are going to phase 2. So that every season of Close Corner, this is my goal, this is my hope, is that I can make a room that teaches you how to do what we're doing, and then you can hopefully be able to refer back to that, even if I died tomorrow. Like hopefully you'd have all the information you have to make an add-on in that world. And we're gonna have a little gameplay. Gameplay for the texturing was a little more challenging, I imagine, than some of the stuff we'll be talking about later when we're making an item and then we get to like see our item in the game here. But for texturing, I made the gameplay observation gameplay, so you have to pick the right UV. And there's several puzzles, and I didn't get the last. I had another puzzle that I wanted to do at the end. I didn't get to finish it. I apologize.
Don't worry, they don't see it. They don't have the world, Cole. So and yeah.
Oh,
yeah. So yeah,
right.
they don't
Okay.
know any different. So it's
Okay.
exactly
Well,
where it should be.
you're gonna see it. You're gonna see it here as well. So, so use your texturing skills to escape the following rooms. So the first one is this crypt. And we got this gate we can't get through. We're in this little mausoleum, and it says this skeleton's tomb holds the key. And so we're going to look at his texture map, and then we're going to go around and look, and we see there's some levers here on the things. Oh, we're dead wrong. So that wasn't it. And we look, oh, there's a skeleton. So I look at the skeleton and I try to deduct if that is this skeleton. And it looks like it could be, but there's something that's different here. I don't know if anybody can look at this picture and tell what it is off the top of their head looking at this, but we can walk around a little bit more. This guy looks pretty much like that guy. Nope, I've been cursed. Okay. Just a fun little thing to help me because I had so much work going on for this world. My son actually made these rooms, he made almost all of these little chambers for me. So that was nice of him, and I'm gonna have to pay him with real money. But he's a pretty good builder. He is pretty good. So this skeleton kind of looks the same. I don't remember what his. Sorry, but our skeleton is in another castle. Seen that message before. Okay. And then there's one up. Well, this skeleton looks a little different. Something is a little different about this one. And I'd say that this one has a hat. And we can see the hat layer has a hat. And this one does not have a hat. Or does this one? So what about this guy? And we're gonna flip the switch, and then our gate opens. We found it. So on to the second chamber, which is to correctly ID this knight of me. It's the knight who says, yeah, okay, I know. Nerd. Anyway, so we're gonna look at him, and we have these two texture options. and we're going to pick which one we think belongs to the Knight of Knee. So I'm going to check him out. And this one's he's got a little gem or a little red square on his back and a little golden sun on his front. And if we look up on our maps here, we got those here.
They're already calling out which one it is. It's the one, only one with the flesh wound. Cool.
It's just only a flesh wound for sure. Great. My kind of people. Anyway, we're gonna to deduct which way he's facing here. We're gonna look at his cloak here, and we got one characteristic that's unique, which is the belt. So the belt is facing us here, and we see this belt is contrasted with the sun, and this belt is contrasted with the square. And we know by looking at him that he is clearly facing forward with the sun, and so it must be this one, right? This is the one. Oh no, I've chosen poorly. No, of course I was teasing. It's got to be this one. We have
You already
chosen.
have Sarah's made her skin pack. She shared it in the chat.
Oh, no kidding. Okay,
So sweet. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Wait, let me get through this and I'm gonna check it out. Just there's only two more of these little puzzles, but this one is the evil wizard is a mirror of the good wizard, and we must bow before the good wizard to remove the barrier spell. So we can't get in here, but we see the gray stash, the good wizard's portrait. Now, this one's kind of a tricky one because if we look at this and we're just kind of imagining this UV map, we see this here kind of looks like it's the armband, right? And we're like, aha, this is the good wizard. So oh no, we've been teleported out of the room. No, that was not it. And the reason we can tell is to determine what these are, like it doesn't just because it's on the right here, it doesn't mean it's showing up on the right there, right? So what we look at is something that has like a pixel pattern. So if we look at his amulet, we can see the reflection is in the upper right corner. And this one, of course, is in the upper left. And this one is in the upper right. So we will stand here and he will remove the barrier spell for us. And now we will teleport to our final place. There should be another one after this, but this is our ninja land where we must find the smiling assassin. So there's a smiling assassin amongst these ninjas, but they all look the same. All these ninjas are the same. So to see something, to see which one's smiling, we have to just kind of get in here and see. Oh, this guy is not smiling. Or is he? I don't know. It's hard to tell in Minecraft. It's up for interpretation. But I'm going to say that's his goatee. But we're going to look around. But we're looking for this guy. We're looking for the smiling assassin. We're looking. So this is a technique kind of showing you that like certain details may be, unseen in the scene, and you have to
always
actually
much more going on than what people see.
Right, exactly. And so, you sly little devil, you, what are you doing back? The smiling assassin, we have found him. And so eventually we will destroy him, which I can't do now because, like I said, I didn't get to finish up this room. So apologies. If you saw my timestamps on this world, you would probably give me a little bit of love, but I was up this morning finishing it up. This door will open, which I'm not gonna break it. Anyway, this is the end. The next level is about an orc. Which sounds like the start of a joke, doesn't it? But this would have been the orc room. And just to show you the orc, let's summon him. Oh, no. Let's see. Character skins. So here, and then we're going to run our position and we're going to run our event. So one thing is all these guys are set up to run off, like to summon off of events. So it picks the texture based off of what event I put in on the spawn event. So for the no, we're not on ninja, we're doing orc. So we're going to spawn orc 1 here. Oh, and I did knight because I think I didn't hit the right button. Because I didn't. There we go. There's our orc. There's our orc. So see, it's the same character, but like, check out this orc. Look at his eyes. He's the suspicious orc. They follow you. Oh man. He's sinister. Anyway, there was 2 orcs that I had made for this game that we were gonna do, and you had to pick them apart. And I was gonna have it so that only the suspicious orc followed you, and the other ones did not. But right now, this one follows you anyway. This was gonna be the suspicious orc because he doesn't got shoes. He's got sandals. Like, see, he's got these little sandals. And then, but his eyes were gonna follow you. See how they follow you? Yeah. And then this guy was not going to follow you, and only the suspicious orc. Yeah. So anyway, you'll have this level. You'll have this little game, hopefully, to help you remember some of these UV mapping principles.